What's going on, Connect fam? So you already know what time it is. Your girl Stitch is here and awesome co-host Miss Sandy, Glenn, and Wendy. Hey, ladies, Morales.
Hey, hey.
So, ladies, we already know what time it is, right? It's about that time. Let's delve into our favorite segment, which is social media uncensored. Today, we're touching on a topic at the forefront, truly, of our digital age, we can say. That is the role of social media in shaping public opinion. So, social media has become more than just a tool for sharing updates. It's really the catalyst for change, where ideas are born, debated, and spread. And from assassinations attempts, I'm sure we've all heard about this by now, on the former president, Donald Trump, who is now running on the Republican Party ticket as president, as you know, to Black Lives Matter, to social media. It has played truly a pivotal role in amplifying voices, mobilizing communities, and shining a spotlight on issues that might otherwise go unnoticed. Can we all agree on this?
You're right, Stitch. It's true. It's fascinating how platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram have reshaped the landscape of public opinion. They've given ordinary individuals the power to reach global audiences, challenge traditional narratives, and hold leaders and institutions accountable. What long-term effects do you see this having on not only our future, but our elections, our children, and our relationships? I'm going to kind of ask you ladies how you feel about that.
Like we said earlier, it's going to have an effect regardless. And funny enough, there's some good and there's some bad to it, especially for our youth. I just came across a situation where we had one of our students who was, I think, maybe about 8 years old, but we saw some of the things that she had access to that was not age appropriate, and she just had access to it. So I think it's for younger kids, it's still being able to manage and to be able to as much as we can block what they are able to look at as much as they can. You know, when they go to school, all we can do is hope. I don't have any kids, but I say I have hundreds of them, but all we can do is that instill what we can, the right values, and hope that they take that with them. But in regards to relationships, I think as long as we plant good seeds in ourselves as much as possible, we can do our best. But there's going to be so much out there that's going to eventually have an effect on us. So I know I said a lot, so I'll tap in with you, Wendy, and then take over, Sandy.
No, I agree 100%. And I think, it just depends what purpose we use it for. But I do see, for example, in my nieces, I just feel like it could be a little dangerous for younger kids because they're so far ahead. And in speaking with my own kids and asking them, how do you feel like it's going to affect your future? And they say, well, just as you mentioned, Stitch, just the control that you start with at home as a parent, right. I think is where it all begins. And I think that's going to be just the way to handle it, because I feel like it's only going to grow more and more.
Yeah. What do you say, Sandy?
And I'll just add two things real quickly. I think number one, I read a lot of parenting books, and a lot of that kind of, they call it like the new age content is saying, if you can, try and wait as long as you can, like 14, 15 years old, until you give your kids access to devices, just because there's so much available. And, times it's hard. Like my kids, they have access to certain things, but again, Stitches, like you're saying, people that have bad intentions are always going to find a way. So I think that, we just have to put it back in the hands and the responsibilities of the parent to gauge what's best for their children and their families. And the second piece of this that I want to add is that in terms of the election and what we see on social media, I watched this on the airplane. I don't know where I was traveling to, but I watched this recently on the airplane. I've been traveling a lot this summer. I think it was called Facebook or Zuckerberg. And it was all about how social media played such a huge role in the election, back 4 years ago. So I think that number one, the algorithm is so much is really like a focus of this, because we are fed the things that we like, the things that we comment on, the things that we engage with. So it's really like, I think, informing yourself on the facts versus just what people say on social media, because anybody can say anything.
True. And that's a perfect segue, actually. Speaking of facts, because the speed and reach of information on these platforms are sometimes outpacing the fact checking and critical analysis and leading to misinformation spreading like wildfire. So you have opinions turning into facts that are not really being fact checked, but more so thoughts and opinions. But I want to ask you, ladies, how do you fact check before getting to well endowed, if you will?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, like, man, I feel like today it's harder than ever to get all the facts right, because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much conflicting information. So I think that you have to have reliable sources. And I think that you have to also know what you want and what you stand for, because if you look, the media can also misconstrue things. You have CNN, you've got Fox, you have all these different channels that are taking their narratives, that are plugging their narratives into how they deliver the information. So I don't know, we go to BBC, I don't know, but I'm just saying it really is, you gotta know what your resources are and how you're plugging into those and kind of what the angles are, and try and get an unbiased opinion if you can. But look, that's a lot of digging and that's a lot of research. So I would say don't go to one place and get your information. Do a little bit more digging.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's so true, Sandy. So ladies, what do you do when you see your friends or your colleagues standing on fake news or misinformation? Like, do you fact check them or do you just let it go? How do you play it?
For me, depending on who it is, if it's really off and it's like, and they're super loud about it, I'll call them. Like, hey, check this out. Did you see did you see this, or did you hear about this? And I think if you're a real friend and if you care about somebody, it's kind of like if you see a fire and you see somebody walking into a fire that doesn't see that there's a fire, are you going to say, hey, get out the way? Or are you going to say, like, hey, get out the way? Like, get out the way. Like, no. So that's for me. If I know you, I'm going to reach out to you, gracefully, with love, and just say, hey, did you see this?
Yeah. And I think it's a respectful way to do it. Yeah. People like to cause fights and arguments and debates over social media. And you got to ask yourself, is that really the most productive way to handle it? So I like what you're saying, Stitches, because I feel like it's a way to be productive about it, but it's also a way to be respectful about it too. Well, ladies, this is a very insightful conversation, and we are just getting started. We have a great show for you today, so don't move, because coming up next, joining us, we are generating new leads and new business with Cindy Dodd. She is the co-founder and COO of Pima.io, specializing in high-scale lead generation. Are you ready to make big money moves? Oh, one of my favorite things. Let's go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. I'm Fern Malice. I was the creator of New York Fashion Week, and now I have a consulting business. And I'm also the author of Fashion Icons by Fern Malice. And I have books 1 and 2, which are fabulous, full of great interviews. You can buy the book set at Nordstrom or buy the books independently at Amazon or other great booksellers. You can follow me on Instagram and find out more about my events and everything I'm doing. It's at Fern Malice. And I'm happy to be here on the Connect Network TV.
If you are ready to keep your hair, scalp, skin, and lips hydrated this season, our vegan and gluten-free all-purpose moisturizers are just for you. Carefully formulated with fine ingredients to purify and nourish the skin and scalp at the same time without harsh chemicals. Shop It's Made For Me today. The end result will be strong, healthy hair and smoother, softer, clearer skin.
I'm Kate McGuire, the founder of Converted Closet on Instagram. And if you like original clothes and would like to get the most out of your wardrobe, follow me for inspiration on Instagram and I'll show you how. You'll never look back. You're watching the Connect Network TV.
welcome back to the Connect Network TV. Today we have a powerhouse entrepreneur who's revolutionizing lead generation and business success in this new digital age. Please welcome to the Connect Network TV, Cindy Dodd.
Hello, ladies.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show, Cindy. I'm loving the background. It's bringing vibes. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Cindy, true story, you've been instrumental in helping over 900 businesses worldwide, truly thriving through lead generation. What's your secret, number one, to transforming leads into loyal customers in today's fast-paced digital world? Tell us the details and the secrets.
I love this question. So I always say leads and clients are the lifeline and the lifeblood of any business. You could have an amazing product, you could have an amazing service, but if you don't have new leads coming in, there is no way that you can make big money moves, number one, but there's also no way that you can serve your clients, right? You need new business coming in. So it's one thing to have amazing leads and you have new people interested, but it's another thing to convert those leads into paying clients. And that's where a dialed in client acquisition or sales process comes into play. If a company is promising you leads and they're saying, hey, I'm going to send you 1,000 leads, but they're not mentioning clients or client acquisition, you have to be very, very mindful of that because leads and clients, they go hand in hand. And that's why it's so important to really focus on that entire process from the time somebody says, yes, I'm interested in your service, they become a lead, to the point where they become a paying client. And it really is, it's a process. At Pima, we've spent years dialing in this process to help businesses, service providers, whether they have amazing services or products, convert those leads into paying clients.
So good, Cindy. So how do we do it? Like, what is the first step to do this? Tell us the scoop.
Great question. So at Pima, we focus all online. And the specific method that I always recommend is direct outreach. So I don't know if you all know, back in the day, people used to knock on doors. They still do it today. They used to pick up the phone, cold call, but that was the way that you got new business. And in this culture that we have today with social media and websites and all the amazing things that you can do online, a lot of the lead generation, I'll be honest, ladies, it's become very passive. Right? People will post something online and wait for people to come to them. And my advice is always go out and find your ideal client. Go send them a DM, cold call, a cold email. That is the way you can truly build a business. But more importantly, that is how you sustain in any economy. You know, in the 2020 pandemic, we saw, and a lot of people came to us looking for leads. We saw a lot of businesses go under. And the main reason for that is because they were focused on referrals. They had referrals coming in and the referrals were great, but the referrals dried up. And so what we did in 2020, what we've been doing for companies is showing them how to go out and meet people, how to go out and send a cold DM or send a cold email. That's probably your easiest way if you are either starting a new business or you are looking to grow your business to the next level.
So, all right, Cindy, so we reach out. What do we say? Walk us through what that cold call or DM looks like.
Great question. So there's so many things you can say here. The simplest way to do it is to focus on the problem that you solve for prospect. I don't know, ladies, if you've ever been at a point where you're laying in bed at night, eyes staring at the ceiling, and something is on your mind. Have any of you been in that position before?
All the time.
All the time. So what we want to do is we want to speak to the problem that our prospect is having, something that's keeping them up at night. Because when I can do that, when I can speak to that problem, I'm positioning my service as the solution. And how much more can you engage somebody when you're talking about a topic that is top of mind for them? So that's my really short snippet on how do you start with a cold message or cold call, speak to the problem that your prospect is facing.
Cindy, you and your husband, Tim, are not only life partners, but also business partners. This can get a little tricky. So how do you manage to balance the personal and the professional side of your relationship while also running Pima.io?
I will be honest, I don't think there is balance. We're all in to build the company and to build our mission and our goals, and we're all in it together. And so I think it's really great that my husband and I have complementary skills. So I am the operations, I do all things on the ops side, and he is marketing and sales. So we have such a great synergy in work. And when I think about that personal side, I see it as my mission to help him reach his potential and vice versa. And so when we're at work, we're all in, we have big goals and a big vision. And when we disconnect and we take a step back, it's to recharge so that we can go back in fully into the business. But truly speaking, there is no balance. We're all in all the time and we love it. It works for us.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cindy. And if people want to get directly to you, where can they go and get more information on your company? Please, where can they go?
It's www.pema.io. So that's PEMA.io.
You're officially a part of the Connect fam. Let's go. Tap, tap, tap.
Thank you, ladies.
Stay close, Connect fam. We'll be back.
People, it's Major, Mr. This is why I love you. And you are watching the Connect Network TV.
I help women thrive. You can find me on Instagram at I'm Ananda Lewis or on my new app, Elixir, available in all app stores right now. And you're watching the Connect Network TV.
Welcome back, Connect family.
Next, we have Julie Vogel. She's going to be connecting with us and sharing her perspective on dating, empowerment, and embracing life's chapters while still having style and confidence. This is an episode you don't want to miss.
Thank you so much for setting up this conversation because it definitely needs to be had. And today I am kicking off things with a very spicy topic and a very important question. Is this a midlife crisis or is it a midlife awakening? I'm so excited because today to join me is Leanne Latanzi. She is an LA hairstylist with over 35 years in the industry. And aside from creating gorgeous hairstyles, fresh cuts and color, she's in her chair getting the tea from everybody. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Leanne.
Hi. So excited. I'm so excited to be here today. Yes.
I'm so excited to have you. So just for our audience reference, I want to say that you and I met in a very interesting way. And as we're talking on this very controversial hot topic of older women dating younger men, I remember when I put a post up on my social media and I was terrified, like when I outed myself that was happening in my life. I was like, okay, I'm going to get canceled. All my female midlife followers are going to unfollow me. And out of the blue, like within moments after the post, you reached out to me and said, oh my God, I have to talk to you about my relationship. And the funny thing is, that is why I think this conversation has to be had, because of all the, thousands of women that I know in that space, you would have been the last person that I would have thought had experienced dating a younger man. And so that's why I really wanted to have you on the show to talk about it. So I want to just start with, you were in a long-term marriage, 20
over 24 years. Over 24 years. Mm-hmm.
And got divorced. You had 3 beautiful daughters. And then tell us what happened and how did you come to dating a younger man? And also, how much younger was this man?
It was really, I was scared to death to date. And it had been 4 years. And my girlfriend's like, Leanne, you just got to get out there. And I went on a couple dates, and they were not exactly fun and exciting. And they were my age. And it was not exactly what I thought I wanted. And I thought, oh, you know, I need to have a little more fun now. I mean, I am divorced, and I just need to look into something more exciting. So I looked onto older women dating, and never dreamed that I would meet anybody really serious and have a great relationship with him. And I ended up meeting this great guy, and he's over 20 years younger. And we just clicked literally right away. And we would talk on the phone, and then he actually made the date for us. And we actually dated for like 3.5 years, and we're still friends to this day. So yes.
I know. I love that you are still in each other's lives. And, you know, a lot of, I think that the misconception is that an older woman who dates a younger man, that it's purely like superficial. It might just be, you know, a sexual, a situationship type thing. And I want you to speak to that misconception of the depth that you experienced in your relationship. And then I'd like to add a little bit about my experience as well. So go ahead.
Yes, I was scared to death. I was really scared to even date this younger guy. And then I just thought to myself, you know, I actually cried about it. And I said, no, I have to just do this for me. It's my life. I'm living this journey, and never dreamed that so much great came out of it. And I always said that it made me feel young again. This misconception of, oh, you're going to feel insecure because you're older and, you know, your body isn't like it was and all this crazy stuff. No. I did not think about any of that. I felt like a new woman. I felt blossomed. I felt like a rebirth. I always said that he gives me youth, and I try to give him wisdom. He doesn't always listen, but I got so much out of it, and it was just something that I never dreamed.
I had a very similar experience where you know, you get to be a certain age, our bodies change. And I was like, you know, here this person is, you know, 20 years younger than me, a little bit younger than that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, am I going to feel really uncomfortable with my physicality and all that? And the truth of the matter is, when I met him and when we went on a first date, I felt almost giddy, like a teenager again. And it brought this feeling of, it was just very exciting, you know? And I was surprised by that. And also surprised that as a woman who is now in her midlife, you know, I'm so much more comfortable with my body, you know? So that really wasn't an issue. So let me ask you something, because you have 3 daughters, and what was their reaction? Because I know one of them was actually over 18 at the time. How did that all go down?
Well, they were actually 17, 13, and 11. And my 17-year-old was not happy about it at all. And I had to say to her, I'm not, you know, I don't get into your business. And this is my life now. And I've always, you know, at that time when I was married, I was the mother and I was a wife, and everything was about everyone else. And I felt like, now this is my time. This is my time to take care of me. And I explained that to her. I said, this is my time, and I'm sorry that you don't understand this, but I need to be happy just like you do. And it doesn't matter how old I am, and it doesn't matter that I'm your mother. I have every right to happiness also. And also, my ex-husband actually was on my side, and he told the girls, you leave your mom alone. She's happy. And, you know, it was very nice to have that.
That is actually very rare and non-normative. And I think that's, you know, hats off to your husband. You know, when I told my daughter, who's 27, she saw my last clip here that I had done, you know, the last segment on Behind the Mirror, and she's looking at the show. And, you know, I hadn't told her because she lives in New York, and I hadn't really wanted to say it in person. So she was here a couple of weeks ago in LA. She's watching, you know, she's watching the segment, and she pauses and she goes, Mom, how young? And she goes, 20? She goes, 30? She's like, okay. Like, it was so funny that there was like, as long as he was above 30, she was okay with it. Which I find really interesting. But the truth is, as a woman, you know, I think it's older than the man. And my man's, which is not, this doesn't bode well for me, he actually looks even younger than his age of 38 years old. When we're out in public, you know, that's another, the conversation is like, you know, am I worried about what people think and if heads turn? And the truth is, I am not at all, he may be a little more than I am, and yet I don't really care. And that goes back to what you said with your daughters. It's like, it's your life. We get to, that's the thing about midlife, is that we have earned the right. I've earned the right to dress how I want to dress, do what I want to do, be happy in my own skin. So I find that so interesting. And in the world we live in, like social media, we did some social media videos, you and I, about this topic, and we got a little pushback, from the women. And the thing is, when I first thought about, do I put this public? Do I not? I remember I had judgment. I mean, I'm going to talk about this in another segment, but that quote, use it or lose it is very relevant, because like anything else, it's like, you got to keep it in shape,
Yeah.
And we'll get into that next time. But isn't it interesting, the difference? And I want you to talk about how your sexual expression and experience was different when you were with the younger man.
Yeah, I feel like there was this emotional connection too. It was chemistry and emotional. And so I'm in better shape than I was then, but I felt safe and secure because he made me feel that way. We were somewhere by a pool in Vegas and I was wearing a cover up and he's like, take that off. You look great. Why did you do that? So it was always this feeling of him knowing that I look great, knowing that I am beautiful, no matter my age. And he would say, I don't look at you like your age. I look at you for you. And that's what's so important with anybody you're with, no matter your age. And so it was nice because I didn't care anymore. Like I was with him and I felt safe. So everything just flowed.
I love that.
Beautifully. I mean, the relationship and the sex and everything. And I was very excited about all that because I used to joke that I went from the desert to the ocean.
So this has been amazing, Leanne. We're going to have to do a part two. And I want to stay in touch and let me know and let our viewers know how they can stay in touch with you and find you.
Yes, my email is LDL, the number 3, GIRLZ. LDL, 3, GIRLZ. So that's my
at Gmail. At Gmail?
Yes, at Gmail. I'm sorry. Yes, at Gmail.
Great. And you guys can keep up with me at Julie Vogel Styling on Instagram or Julie Eliza Vogel at gmail.com. All right. More to come on this juicy subject.
Wow, we've got to give it up for our monthly contributor, Julie Vogel, with her segment Behind the Mirror. That was worth rewinding and running back. Let us know, you at home, are you an older woman that has dated or is dating a younger man? Tap into our IG and connect with us to share more at the Connect Network TV.
As always, ladies, it is a pleasure. Love to see your beautiful faces. And thank you so much, Connect Fam, for hanging out with us. God bless. Stay beautiful. Tell somebody you love them while they can hear it and receive it. Life is short. Love you for 3.
You're watching the Connect Network TV on the CW.